Hello everyone, welcome to Durrett's Take. Let's get started with my top 5 college football games for Week 12. Let's get started. We got 20 USC 2-0 versus Utah to late night, typical Pac-12 action at 10:30 Eastern, ESPN. So hopefully this game's played and not canceled last moment. But if that's not the case, then Utah can finally play their first game of the season. So originally I thought, okay, USC is going to go to Utah. That should be a loss, especially since USC won with the third string quarterback last year. So Utah, and basically that kept Utah out of the, not only kept them out of the playoff picture, but also kept them out of the New Year's Six picture as well, because with Oregon loss they had 2 losses, so they're gonna definitely want to get revenge. Now the problem is with a limited training camp, with a bunch of players recovering from COVID or being out but not practicing in the past few weeks, along with a lot of roster turnovers. It's not going to be the same exact roster as last year. It's going to be a lot of new faces. I just feel like it's going to be a tough ask for them to go out and be a USC team that's good. Now, a USC team that's been getting lucky these past, they should be an 0-2 in my opinion. But nevertheless, they've won their 2 games. So I'm going to take USC to once again get lucky and win this game with a 27-24 type of game. Number 4, you got 7 Cincinnati, 7-0 versus UCF, 5-2. That's a 3:30 game Eastern time on ESPN. So the winner of this game obviously will clinch the division, go to the American Conference title game, and therefore keep their New Year's Six bowl hopes alive. Although in UCF's case with 2 losses, I feel like they're out of it entirely. But then again, they can at least still try to potentially win the conference. You never know. So for Cincinnati, I know they're not thinking more than the Year Six at this point. I know they're trying to think to sneak into the playoffs, which means they're going to be playing very hard, but also means that with a lot of pressure comes with a lot of expectations, which means it's a chance for a team to potentially fall under that. Like we expect, for example, we expect Oklahoma to be a top 5 team every year, but this year that's not the case because they fell under the pressure. So I think it's a good chance for UCF at home, and who usually gives Cincinnati a challenge, whether they're the better team. Right? They usually give them a challenge. So I feel like this is a chance for USC to pull off the upset, and I feel like they actually barely, because I know UCF was horrible defense. So the Cincinnati offense should be fine, and while the Cincinnati defense is good, I mean UCF's offense is just great. So I mean I expect USCF to barely get the upset at home. A 30-35 type of shootout game to where it ends the dream of Cincinnati being in the college football playoff and potential New Year's Six. Third, 10 Wisconsin 2-0 versus 19 Northwestern 4-0, 3:30 game on ABC. So get ready for a defensive slugfest here. I know Wisconsin can score the ball, and Northwestern, they have their moments, but here are some interesting things. Wisconsin has dominated their 2 opponents, but it was Illinois and Michigan, who are combined for a 2-6 record. Also, Northwestern is really good at stopping the run. Held Purdue to 2 yards rushing. We all know Wisconsin likes to run the ball. Now with Mercer, they look like a good passing team. We all know they like to run the ball. But you get where I'm going with this. So because Northwestern is so offensively, that's why it's going to be close. That's low score type of game. But Northwestern's defense might be the story that we're going to be talking about if they get the upset. Because right now, a lot of people are buying into Wisconsin hype. But for me, it's like I want to see them play a real opponent right here. And if Wisconsin demolishes Northwestern, then I'll buy into the hype. If they barely beat them, then you can buy into the hype to a certain extent. But then I would still feel like Ohio State beats them either way. But here's a game for Wisconsin to prove themselves. But I feel like Northwestern at home will actually get the upset in a very close game, like 23-21 type of game. 14 Oklahoma State 5-1 versus 18 Oklahoma 5-2. That's a 7:30 game at Eastern ABC. So you might be thinking, why is this game above the Wisconsin Northwestern game, which has obviously they're both undefeated and playoff and Big Ten aspirations? Well, this game is very important for the Big 12 title race. While neither teams will make the playoffs, like Gundy, for example, has struggled mightily against his rival. No, he's only won 2 times in the past decade. And you notice the 2 times Oklahoma State won, that both of them were like super good. They were like top 10 level teams. And right now Oklahoma State's 14, so they kind of have that capability. But the Cowboys, I'm not sure if you watched them play, but they've kind of digressed over the past few weeks before the bye. And the Sooners, since the Red River Ride game, has shown progression. They're on the opposite track, especially on defense. So I usually take the team heading in the right direction right now. So I'm taking the Sooners for the upset here. I'm punching their ticket yet again to the Big 12 title game with a score of about like 38-35. Last but not least, you got 9 Indiana, 4-0 versus 2 Ohio State, 3-0. The noon game on Fox. So this will be a very interesting game. It's crazy that we all thought in early October Ohio State's only tough competition was Penn State, maybe Michigan. But nope, it's a basketball school in Indiana. Now, like Wisconsin, though, Indiana, their record is deceiving. Their opponents combined for a 3-14 record, so don't be fooled. We hope this is a good game. We hope for some chaos. This game is most likely going to be a blowout. Disguised maybe as a good game, because it could be close in the first half for Ohio State pulls away in the second half or something. So, in my opinion, Ohio State is a top 3 team. And I think they will show it in this game. So I have them winning like 45-24. So those are my 5 games. So I have USC winning by 3, UCF winning by 3 in the upset in the shootout, Northwestern winning by 2 in the upset low scoring game. Oklahoma winning by a field goal in the shootout, and then Ohio State winning by a couple of possessions. And just to let you know, last week I did really good on my picks because I picked Northwestern to beat Purdue, and I got that right. I told you Wisconsin that if Mertz and the head coach ended up being it, that they would win, and sure enough, they won. And I told you that USC was going to beat Arizona. Sure enough, that happened. I forgot the other games that were in my top 5, but I was right on all of them. I remember that part. So now let's move on to a bunch of NBA news and stuff to dissect. So let's get started. So the big news just coming out recently is about Klay Thompson tore his Achilles and is out for the year. And let's face it, it's most likely going to be he's most likely also going to be the first half of the following season because Achilles takes a while. So I don't like the Warriors. They're my favorite team, but I do feel bad for Klay Thompson coming off a big injury just to go through another one. It's tough. This is big because if you remember, around a month ago, I said in my podcast that my way too early NBA picks that Golden State would contend in the West, go to the Western Conference Finals, and give Lakers a challenge in 7 games or so. Like I thought the Warriors were that sneaky and that potentially dangerous. But now with Klay Thompson out, in my opinion, this goes from them being to that level to not even making the playoffs. In my opinion, just because the West has gotten so much better and there's so much other teams to contend with. And now if you're the Warriors, you have to decide on something. You have to decide 3 things. 1, just try to sneak into the playoffs barely and get blown out in the first round. 2, do we want to take on purpose for this year, get another good draft pick like we did last year, and then go from there? Or 3, should we just break this thing down entirely and really assess and look at, do we want to blow this thing up? So let's face it, Draymond Green, past his prime. Curry is getting older, injury history. Andrew Wiggins, well, we all know what Andrew Wiggins is. Wiseman, he might be a good player, but might be a starter, but I don't think he's going to be nothing more than that. They have some good bench players, but again, they're just good bench role players, nothing more. So I feel like they could, if I were them, I would try to trade. I would keep Curry, obviously, because I feel like he's kind of like the Dirk or something. He should be there for his whole career, whether he's good or bad. But maybe it's time to, okay, maybe we should trade Draymond Green or something since past prime. And we don't want to pay him a lot of money so we can get someone better and cheaper. Or with Klay Thompson's back-to-back injuries and the fact it's going to take a while, do you even consider trading him? As crazy as that sounds. Like, there's a bunch of things to consider here. But one thing that is for sure, in my opinion, is that the Warriors dynasty is now officially over. Okay, so I want to go over the trades that happened recently. So the first trade was to deal Al Horford to the Thunder for Danny Green. So again, the Thunder get Al Horford, a first rounder and a second rounder, and then the 76ers get Danny Green. So you know the Thunder love getting picks. So for the Thunder, I give them an A. I thought from the start that Green could have been flipped because I didn't think he would be a good fit for the Thunder. So it makes sense that they got rid of him, and then they got 2 picks like they always like to do, and recently. And then so don't be surprised also now because Al Horford and Steve Adams are both there, so one of them, if not both, could potentially be traded. So be on the alert for that. But I feel like the Thunder, they're again, if they continue to get draft picks, they're going to strike gold eventually somewhere. So it's good for them. Now for the 76ers, I give them a C, and here's why. I know the goal was to move Al Horford since him and Embiid couldn't coexist. Therefore, that's all that they needed to trade. Um, so instead of giving up a first rounder, maybe you can give up a second rounder along with Al Horford as well, but there was no need to give up a first rounder. That was called overdoing it. And Green, I mean, we've seen, even though he's a shooter and we know he can make threes, the problem is, especially in the playoffs, he's struggled mightily. So I feel like Green's always past his prime. I'm not sure how much he can contribute, but at least they got a shooter to help Simmons out. So that's why I give them a passing grade, but not a high one. The other trade the 76ers did, Morey doing what he does here and going for the fences. So he dealt Josh Richardson in the 36th pick, Tyler Bay to the Mavs for Seth Curry. Now for the 76ers, this is an A. They finally get help for Simmons with adding shooter, and Curry is like a JJ Redick. He's a really good 3-point shooter, good enough free throw shooter, although Redick's better at that. He's good at coming off screens, and he can also even pull up and shoot. It's not like he has to. It's not like he's a catch and shoot type player. He can do stuff with the ball. So I like that for Simmons and Embiid. Now you are sacrificing some defense here, but they knew that and they were okay with that because they needed shooting that bad. Plus they got a bunch of other good bench players that could play defense. So Philly got better after this trade and a half, so that's why they get an 8. Still not. I don't think they're still on Milwaukee's level or Brooklyn's level good yet, but they're good. The only reason why I wouldn't put them there is because again I'm not sure if Embiid is Simmons. I'm not sure if they can still coexist. I know they're going to try it out for a year, but if it doesn't work after this year, then you have to trade one of them. But again, it'll be interesting what happens there. Now for the Mavs, I'm going to give them a B. Because they get Richardson, who can create his own shot, which is nice. He can score. He's not going to shoot as efficiently as Seth Curry. But again, he can play defense, which is needed. And then they also get Tyler Bay, who's a good draft pick. And he can play defense. So they get better defensively, which is what they needed. Although you're going to sacrifice a little bit of scoring there. So they got more work, obviously, to do free agency. But credit Mark Cuban knowing, okay, we knew what our issue was last year. We're going to get the help for Luka and get better defensively. The other trade was a 3-way trade. It was underrated, in my opinion. So guard Luke Kennard from the Pistons goes to the Clippers. Landry Shamet goes, the valuable role player for the Clippers. He goes to the Nets, and the Pistons got a draft pick. So the Nets, in my opinion, got to be here because Landry Shamet, in my opinion, was a very underrated player and a helpful player for the Clippers last year. And I feel like he's going to boost this Nets roster and make them even better. Or, again, it's just a valuable asset for a trading piece to try to lure James Harden there. Either way, it works well for them there. Now, for the Luke Kennard trade, I'm getting that a C. Just because at least he can score, so the Clippers are going to have some score on the bench. But again, I'm not sure if he's better defensively. I'm not sure how much of a difference it's going to make for the Clippers. And then for the Pistons, I give them B+ because I like the pick that they got. So those are the recent trades. That's it for this week. For today, thank you very much for listening to my podcast. Please subscribe to my channel, tell everyone about me. Thank you very much, and y'all have a wonderful day.